You ever wondered that? Why guys or girls who are locked up in prison for a good amount of time are probably going to be building more muscle than you over the same time period they're locked up? And that's not just me digging you out, by the way. Even though they have the odds massively stacked against them, going against everything we know about building muscle and optimizing your approach to fitness. Prisoners are going to have a poor diet, high stress environment, limited access to gym equipment, potentially poor sleeping conditions, no Whoop, no MyFitnessPal, no infrared sauna. You name it, they probably don't have it. And yet some of them will be in phenomenal shape. They were beforehand and they carry that on while they're inside, getting better each and every year. So let me explain. Firstly, their nutrition probably sucks. They're probably not hitting their protein intake, although they could get a reasonable amount in if they're drinking things like milk. Maybe 100 grams for men, 50 grams for women, something like that. They'll have no high quality food ingredients, definitely not organic, no access to fresh fruit or vegetables, things like that. So they might hit an okay amount of protein each day, but that's just about it. In society's table of who eats the most nutritious food, imagine that's a thing for a second. You have personal trainers and nutritionists at the top, lol, and you'd have prison inmates right at the bottom. Or you'd like to think so anyway. Now look, I don't know all the ins and outs of prisoners' diets. I pay my taxes, I've never been to one. So I haven't seen with my own two eyes, but if TV shows, movies, general hearsay is anything to go by, which in today's age probably is, let's agree I'm right on the food front. So not exactly optimal for building muscle, is it? And what about supplements? The ones you and I take, the fish oils, the vitamin Ds, the zinc, the magnesium, the creatine, the whey protein powder, forget it. I really doubt prisoners are getting access to this kind of stuff regularly. And let's be honest, if they have the option to sneak it in, they're not going to be sneaking fish oil in. They're going to choose something else. Now, I'm sure some of them probably managed to sneak in some testosterone into the gym. Because if BBC articles are anything to go by, drug use is rife in the UK's prisons right now. So that would not surprise me. So the group that's on the source are going to be building crazy amounts of muscle anyway, regardless of what they do. But it's not a fair comparison, so let's leave the assisted inmates for a second and concentrate on the non-assisted inmates. Because it kind of ruins my video if we don't do that. And I want to help you with the point of view I'm trying to get across. But my point is they are certainly not getting enough vitamin minerals in their diet or from supplementation, which is an important part of building muscle. So that, coupled with the bad diet, it's not looking good. And what about their training facilities? What about those? Building muscle, training facilities, they go hand in hand, right? Well, maybe not. They've probably got access to fairly limited and basic equipment. It's not going to be the state-of-the-art stuff. They're not going to be using Techno Gym's brand new machines which count your reps for you, measure your heart rate, machines that have a perfect resistance profile, or infrared saunas that supposedly reduce your inflammation by 50%. None of that. It'll probably be some old dumbbells, pull-up bars, dip bars, if the movies are anything to go by, and a few other bits, benches, etc. That's it. I would call it a well-equipped home gym that they're allowed to use probably for 1 hour every day. So 7 hours over the week. And therein lies the secret sauce. But wait a second, let's just backtrack. 3 solid reasons why they shouldn't be building muscle. Poor diet, poor vitamin and mineral intake, and poor training equipment. And I haven't even talked about their sleep and recovery, or their fat and carbohydrate levels. Fiber? None of them are probably going to be good. They're certainly not going to have expensive mattresses which are super comfortable. But they still probably put us to shame when it comes to building muscle. So what's the real reason? That they're more jacked than you and I. They are not worrying about the details. They're not concerned with the 1% variables. Because they physically can't. They're extremely limited in what they can do. They don't care whether they're doing 8 reps or 15. They're just doing reps to failure. They don't care whether they're doing intermittent fasting or not. Because they can't. They have set meal times and they eat the meal when it's in front of them. The icing on the cake type stuff, the sexy things that we like to ponder over, discuss with our friends, research on the internet, it's just not on the radar for them. Weekly Whoop stats, macro counting, ice baths. Prisoners don't care. They train hard every day. They don't skip training sessions. They do some extra press-ups in their room in between, probably, because what else is there to do? They eat their meals, they sleep at night, And that's it. And for building muscle, that's far better than the alternative, which is skipping training sessions, only training twice a week, not pushing yourself hard in the gym, but hitting your macros perfectly, getting good scores on your weekly Whoop stats. What the prisoners do is not optimal. Sure, I agree with you on that, but it's 95% of the way there. And that's why they're jacked. They're not worrying about that 5%. They're only doing the things that actually matter when it comes to building muscle. So that's my advice for you. Don't sweat the small stuff, just focus on the big things. You don't have to train like you're in prison, but train hard, don't skip training sessions, and don't worry about the details. They'll come later. I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.